there just isn't enough time in the day. Balancing work, family, and personal commitments can make it hard to find a moment to catch your breath, let alone focus on what truly matters. But what if you could create more space in your life by simply shifting how you handle tasks and routines, both personally and professionally? Well, by implementing new processes, you can open up that much needed freedom. And in this episode, we will dive into why systems are essential and how to identify areas for improvement and even how to design a process that truly works for you. So stay tuned. This podcast is brought to you by DJ Works Media and HalftimeSuccess.com, offering resources and insights for those at mid-career or the halftime of life. Explore our diverse categories, including courses, coaching, health, music, software, and travel. We're here to help you make this stage of life your best ever. So get our new articles, downloads, and podcasts by signing up for weekly updates at goalsforyourlife.com/newsletter. Now, let's dive into today's episode. There's just never enough time. Well, that's a phrase I hear often. I've actually said that often as well. So between juggling work, family, and personal commitments, it can be tough to find space to breathe, let alone focus on what really truly matters to you. But what if you could create more space and more room in your life simply by changing how you approach tasks and routines? Implementing new processes can be a powerful way to unlock that freedom. And the same principle applies to business, especially as an entrepreneur or a small business. When you can design systems that work for you, you can reduce stress, increase productivity, free up your time and energy for additional activities, and open up new possibilities for growth and enjoyment. Personally, I have put new processes and systems in place so that my business keeps running when traveling or working remotely. And I've tested that fairly thoroughly through the years. And here we cover why systems matter, identify areas to change, and design a process that will hopefully work for you. So let's talk first about the power of processes and why systems matter. A process is simply a series of actions or steps taken to achieve a specific outcome. In both personal and professional settings, processes help to bring order to chaos. And for example, I get up early and I spend the very first part of my day doing three things: a short devotional, then I check email, and then I work out. It's consistent. I don't have to really think about it. As I'm on autopilot, I kind of send my body to do those things. And the routine, it ends up reducing decision fatigue. But processes aren't just about efficiency. They're about creating freedom. By setting up systems that streamline those repetitive tasks, you free up mental energy and time, which can then be directed toward creative endeavors, strategic thinking, or just simply enjoying life more. A professional example of this is what I cover in my course, A New Way of Doing Business. And we speak about an automation hub in the third section of the course. And it's all about creating systems that will provide freedom. And with the amount of tools available, including AI, well, the possibilities have expanded for using automation. And in fact, the tools I have set up for my business, they have freed me up to travel more with my husband. It still takes work and planning, believe me, but the system does work. Also, a good routine can prevent distractions and allow for deep focus, providing more time to write and create. So let's talk about identifying areas for change. And before you can create new processes, it's important to recognize which areas of your life are ripe for improvement. So start by spotting the inefficiencies or activities that really feel chaotic or draining. Are there tasks that always seem to just take longer than they should? And personally, do you find yourself frequently searching for lost items, struggling to keep up with email, or overwhelmed by the sheer number of commitments on your calendar? I have felt all of those things. And to pinpoint these areas, ask yourself some self reflection questions. What activities leave me feeling stressed or depleted? And another one is, what do I see my life looking like in 6 months or a year? That's a really good one. What low value tasks could be streamlined or outsourced? What kind of systems or outsourcing for my business could immediately free up more of my time and energy? And which routines or lack thereof cause me the most frustration? Now, if you want to review all of these, make sure you get the article that comes with this because I've outlined all of those specifically in the article as well. And you may have more questions to ask yourself, but mainly focus on what you want your days, your weeks, and your months to look like. I don't want to spend hours looking for a particular email or for a particular file, which I've done. And once you've identified potential areas for change, it's time to prioritize. Focus first on the processes that will have the greatest, and the biggest impact on your daily life. For example, improving your time management by saying no. I just wrote an article on that one, but saying no to certain types of commitments might have a greater effect than creating a system for a new social media blast. So start with one area and expand gradually as you see results. So now let's talk about designing a new process that works for you. Now, when creating a new process, it's essential to start very small and think big. So small, manageable changes are easier to stick with and can build momentum toward larger transformations. So here's a step-by-step method to guide you through creating a new process. First, set a clear goal. Define the specific outcome that you want to achieve. For instance, if you want to save time on managing emails, your goal might be to, here we go, reduce time spent on emails to 30 minutes per day. So start with that. Give yourself some guidelines, some boundaries, and then break down the tasks. Identify the individual steps needed to reach your. Wow, you need to see the book he has for ideas on this. It's wonderful. And for the email example, this can include unsubscribing from newsletters, setting up folders for sorting messages, and dedicating specific times for checking email. That's not always easy to do. But again, you're setting boundaries. And then identify tools and resources. Determine what can help you automate or simplify some of those tasks. Now, there are so many tools available, such as project management apps, automation software, even simple templates that can save you time. However, be aware that using some types of software, it can take a great deal of your time and effort to even learn and implement those. So evaluate carefully. And I've put a lot of these resources in the Halftime Success. If you look up halftimesuccess.com. So then test and refine. And once you put those processes into practice, observe how it's working and make your adjustments. So a process is rarely perfect from the start. So be open to tweaking until it flows smoothly into your life. And don't be afraid to delete it or to cut it after careful evaluation. Sometimes we don't do that often enough. So here's some examples of effective processes. A few common areas where new processes can make a big difference include organizing your workspace, your desk, automating bill payments, and creating a content calendar for social media scheduling that can be accessed by a virtual assistant. I cover all of this in A New Way of Doing Business, and each of those can save time and reduce mental load. Well, now let's talk about embracing the transition and overcoming resistance to change. Now, change, even when it's for the better, it can be uncomfortable. And it's natural to resist adopting new processes because they disrupt our familiar routines, even when those routines are less than ideal. So understanding yourself and your resistance, it can help you push through some of those. And a good book for this is Immunity to Change. I've given you the link in the article. Now, one common reason for resistance is that fear of the unknown. And we get used to our routines, even if they're inefficient, because, well, they're predictable, they're comfortable. And to overcome this, try focusing on the long-term gains that new processes can offer, like having more time for yourself or reducing stress. Maybe you get to travel more. Celebrate those small wins along the way to reinforce your progress and keep the momentum going. And another key to overcoming resistance is to shifting your mindset. That's huge. Instead of viewing new processes as a chore, we'll see them as an investment in yourself and in your future. They're tools that will create more space for what truly matters. For example, a streamlined morning routine can give you an extra 30 minutes every day to read, exercise, or simply enjoy a slower start. For me, it's taking a bath sometimes. And I find it's freeing to have completed my workout early in the morning, as I rarely skip a day, and it's one less thing to try to fit into my schedule. It's just automated. It's part of getting up for me. And accountability is also essential. Having a partner, a coach, or even a supportive friend to keep you on track, it can make a world of difference. I cover this really thoroughly in my course, Hero Mountain Summit, as it's a large course with very, very small steps and a lot of accountability. Well, it is so important to share your progress, your challenges, and your wins with someone who can encourage you to keep going. That's why mentorship and those sort of courses are so important in our lives. So let's talk about some of those benefits of creating that space in your life. When you put effective processes in place, you unlock time and mental space that can be used in more fulfilling ways. And here are some of the biggest benefits. More time for what really matters. So by automating or simplifying those repetitive tasks, you gain extra hours in your week. Boy, don't we all want that. And this time can be used for passion projects, for giving to others, spending time with those you care about and love, or travel, focusing on your own self-care. Another benefit is reduce stress and improve focus. Having structured routines, it helps to reduce that decision fatigue and just allows you to approach tasks with a clear mind. And knowing that certain aspects of your life are running smoothly, it can give you the freedom to focus on bigger goals and creative thinking. There's also room for growth and exploration. New processes can create the mental space to pursue opportunities that, well, you might not have considered before. Whether it's learning a new skill, starting a side project, or exploring a career change, having a solid foundation of processes and good habits in place makes it easier to pivot and grow. Well, let's talk about deep work. In the book, Deep Work, the author, Cal Newport, he emphasizes the value of creating systems or processes and minimizing distractions to boost productivity and achieve higher levels of focus. And one of the key benefits is the ability to produce high quality work in less time by engaging in sustained distraction-free concentration. Not always easy. And Newport argues that this deep focus enables individuals to push their cognitive abilities to their limits. It leads to the creation of new value and the mastering of difficult skills. And he notes that such focus is increasingly rare. It is, right? In the modern distraction-filled world, making it a competitive advantage for those who cultivate it. So as you put these systems in place, you will be a step ahead of many people around you. And Newport also points out that by implementing structures like dedicated time blocks for deep work and for writing for me, people can eat better, resist distractions, and avoid the constant mental switching that depletes focus and energy. And this takes streamlining some tasks and saying no to others to free up time. For example, scheduling time away from the internet or maintaining strict rules around work times, it can help rewire the brain for sustained focus, leading to improved outcomes and higher efficiency in complex tasks. Now, not all of us have complex tasks, but if you're a writer, you want that freedom of your time and of your mental space. So these structured approaches to focus not only enhance productivity, but also create mental space for more innovative thinking. I like that, making it possible to achieve more with less effort over time. So let's kind of conclude all of this with a couple takeaways. Creating new processes can feel daunting at first, but the rewards are well worth the effort. When you take the time to set up systems that work for you, you can reduce stress, increase efficiency, and create more freedom to enjoy life. And the best part, well, these changes don't have to be dramatic to be effective. Start with one small little process, refine it, and watch how the new space and possibilities unfold. And as you head into this new chapter of your life, especially if you are at halftime or at mid-career, remember that sometimes the key to more freedom is just simply a better plan. So start small. Again, in the article, I put some good resources, some books, extra books. Constantly be committed to reading and to improving that way so you can put in some new habits, such as tiny habits. There's so many books on habits, and I will put some of those in, and from some of our very good articles that we've had in the past as well. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this does inspire you in some way. Don't be overwhelmed with change. The immunity, many times that immunity of change happens because we're just afraid of it, or we're thinking it'll close us in. But good boundaries and good, it's just like bowling when you have those good gutters there. So you know where you have to put the ball to get all those pins knocked down. And the same is true in life. Putting good boundaries and good systems into place will only help us. So I hope you're inspired by that and that you are able to make some of the changes that you need to make in your life. And make sure you check out those courses as well at our halftimesuccess.com. We have a lot of resources available on that, and we are adding to that with some of our wonderful affiliates. And some of those include some of our podcast guests that have wonderful products that you might not have had access to. So I hope you're able to check them out. You can always check them out completely free. So thanks again for joining me, and I will look forward to being with you again next time. So bye-bye for now.
Thank you for joining us. It is because of our wonderful listeners like you that we keep going strong week after week. We'd love it if you'd share and follow us to not miss a single show and even write a review. You can also find all of our articles, products, and links at womenathalftime.com.